Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm talking about the most important meal of the day, which is breakfast. So at the beginning of this year, I made up my mind. You know, when a new year begins and then you have these new year resolutions and you say, okay, this year, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to stop doing, this is what I want to do differently. So for me, one of the things I resolved to do was to start to eat healthy. Not necessarily because I wanted to lose weight, but because I just wanted to have an healthier lifestyle. I wanted to eat healthy, I wanted to live healthy, and I just wanted to make sure that in the aspect of food, I was more deliberate. So one of the things I did in order to achieve that was to plan my breakfast, to stop skipping breakfast and then to plan my breakfast properly, because I noticed that that was one of the things I was doing wrongly in the previous year. So welcome everyone, thank you for coming, thank you for joining, thank you for clicking. If you're new here, my name is Kemi and I talk about healthy living, I talk about food and nutrition, I talk about lifestyle. So if you're here, thank you so much, I love you. Please subscribe if you've not yet subscribed at this point. Turn on the post notifications and of course give me a thumbs up. You can also share with your friends. If you're a returning subscriber, I love you. Thank you for watching again. So let's get to the business of the day.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race, every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way.
For me, or even if you research, if you do your research, they will tell you that the breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and there is a reason for that. But first, let's talk about breakfast. Of course, literally, you will say, of course, breakfast is the first food you have in the day, you know, this, that. Yes, so why is it called breakfast, or why is it a breakfast? Literally, from the name, breakfast, it means you're breaking an overnight fast. That is, you've been fasting for, say, 8 hours, 10 hours, depending on the last time you had your last meal. That is probably if you had your last meal 8 p.m. the previous night and now you're having your breakfast at 8 a.m. That means you've been fasting for how many hours now? I think 12 hours? Yes, you've been fasting for 12 hours. So depending on how long that has been, you are now breaking your overnight fast. So that is where the term breakfast is gotten from. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what time you should be having your breakfast, what should be in your breakfast, and the benefit of you having breakfast. So if you do not plan to watch this video to the end, I think now is the time to change your mind, because I'm also going to be sharing with you tips of what you can have for breakfast, especially for someone who is busy, for a busy person. Give you ideas of what I have for breakfast on Mondays and so on. So let's get started, guys. Now to the first question I'm going to be answering, that is, what time should you be having your breakfast? It is usually advisable that you have your breakfast 2 hours after you get up from bed. So let's say you wake up by 6 a.m. It's best that you have your breakfast by 8 a.m. Let's say you wake up by 9 a.m. have your breakfast by 11 a.m. and so on. But then the ideal time for you to have breakfast, because breakfast is a food that's supposed to be taken in the mornings, the ideal time is for you to have your breakfast between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. So then don't say that because you woke up by 8 a.m. so you have your breakfast by 10 a.m. that is no longer becoming a breakfast. It's now tending towards, what's it called now? A brunch. That is the food that is taken between breakfast and lunch, or a snack. So that said, a breakfast should be taken ideally between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. or if you want to use the calculation of 2 hours after you get up from bed. But now let's look at our reality. We're in Nigeria, right? We know the reality. You know how things work. At times, maybe you're a busy person and then you're on the go. You're always on the go while you're stuck in traffic, and then you just say, well, let me just quickly grab a drink or gala. No. So I won't advise that. It's always best that if you want to be conscious about it, if you want to be deliberate about this, it's best that you plan your breakfast properly. So that said, if you had already planned your breakfast and you already have your breakfast in your lunch bag, you can eat it on the go. That way you're still having your breakfast. It's just that now you're not sitting or you're not having it in a quiet place, you're having it on the go. Second question I need to be answering: what should be in your breakfast? Or you would ask me now, what should I have in my breakfast? Can I just have, as long as you want me to have breakfast, okay, I'll just go ahead and grab something. No, it's not just about grabbing anything and eating anything for breakfast. So because I said your body is going to absorb nutrients better and faster, why not just go for something healthy, something that would nourish you, something that would benefit you and also help you through the day? So I would advise, or rather it is advisable, that in your breakfast you should have at least 4 components, which I'm going to be listing now. The first one is whole wheat or whole grain, sorry. The first one is whole grain. Yes, it is advisable that you have in your breakfast whole grain. Examples of whole grains are wheat, your grains. So example of those foods are your cereals, your oats, yes, your whole grain oats or wheat oats, yes. For example, the fruit and fiber, your oatmeal already. And then another very good example of what should be in your breakfast is lean protein. So a very good example of lean protein is our eggs, your chicken breast, your fish, your meat, and all that. Yes, another very good thing or a very good class of food that should be in your breakfast is a dairy. Yes, no fat dairy to be precise, maybe yogurt, milk, if that's what you like. Another thing that should be in your breakfast is fruits. Yes, fruits should be in your breakfast. So that means that if you're planning to have your breakfast, you should have it in mind that you want to have at least one class of these things I've mentioned in your breakfast. Let me give an example. You want to have an oatmeal. There are several recipes now that you can find on YouTube of oatmeals that is, I call them fortified oatmeal. For example, you want to have your oatmeal. So oatmeal number one has the whole grain, which is the oat itself. You prepare that, then you add in your toppings. If you want to have your milk, whatever milk you like to use. If you are lactose intolerant, you try to go for your nut milk, like the almond milk, the tiger nut milk, and so much more. Yes, but if you are not, you can take milk, you can take dairy well enough. You can use your normal milk, either a whole milk or a skimmed milk, depending on what you prefer. Yeah. So next, you've added your oats, which is the whole grain. You've added your milk, which is the dairy. Now, of course, you can add in your toppings, the berries, your strawberries, your bananas. You can add in your, what's it called now, your grapes. So, see, I've added what now? 3. And then what's the last thing you're going to add? Your protein, which you can include by adding a peanut butter. Peanut butter, if you're a lover of peanut butter, you can have peanut butter. Or you can even have side by the egg by this. Sorry. Or you can even have egg by the side. So you see that's now a whole meal. Trust me, if you have that for breakfast, you're going to be full throughout the day. You might not even have anything for snack, and then you go straight to your lunch. So for me, because I have to work and I go to work every day, I make sure that I pack my breakfast, I pack my lunch for the day. So before now, when I was still, I just used to do them any way I like. I would even have my lunch as breakfast. What I've prepared for lunch, which is like this big bowl of food, and then I just have it for breakfast, and then lunch, I now start looking. So that said, when I decided to change my ways, when I decided to turn a new leaf, I now had my breakfast separately, and then I had my lunch separately. That way, my meals are properly planned. The thing we want to talk about is what are the benefits of breakfast, or why should you have breakfast? Why can't I just skip breakfast? Is it compulsory for me to have breakfast? What does breakfast do to me? What will change in my life if I have breakfast? You have so many questions. So let's get straight to that. Why should you be having breakfast? What are the benefits of breakfast? So I'm going to be taking these benefits one after the other, and I'm going to be elaborating on it just a little, so you can get a little more insight on it. Please note, I'm a public health professional. This is what I have studied, this is what I've done I've also researched about over a period of time. So it is advisable that you follow this, and of course at the same time, you're free to do your own research on the topic. So let's get right into it. So the first benefit of having breakfast I'm going to be talking about is that it helps to start your day right. Yes, because now let me elaborate on it. If you do not have a breakfast, or if you do not plan your breakfast, now you're going to, remember I said you've been fasting for say 10-12 hours depending on the intervals between your last meal before the night and when you're having your breakfast. So your energy levels are down, they're low, and then you wake up, you don't have breakfast, you go into work, you continue your work that way. You will notice that you are not thinking, or your brain is not working at optimal capacity, because now your brain remember, your brain needs food. You need food to sustain life. You need food for energy. You need food for some of the, the activities that goes on, some of the some of the processes that happens in your body needs food for energy, needs food for fuel, for fuel. Just the same way your car cannot move without a fuel, you need food to sustain life. So if you do not eat in the morning, you will notice that you're low, you're dull, you're not thinking straight, you know. I mean, yes, someone is asking you a question, you're still like, someone asks you what's 2 plus 10, you're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, you understand what I mean? So eating breakfast helps you to work at optimal capacity. It helps your brain to function optimally. The next benefit of breakfast I'm going to be talking about is that it helps you to cut out unhealthy eating. It helps you to eat healthy foods. Yes. So how does that happen? How does that work? Yes. So if you have planned your breakfast properly and you've included all those 4 classes that I mentioned earlier in your breakfast, you will notice that you are full for the rest of the morning, and then the next time you are having another meal is say maybe 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. for your lunch. But then if you didn't have a properly planned breakfast, you will notice that before maybe you just grab a biscuit and something else for breakfast, you notice that before you know it, you are hungry again, and then you start to eat these little things, you hit this there and there, you hit that, you hit this, you hit this. But then if you have a properly planned breakfast, it helps to, it holds your appetite, yes. It gives you this appetite for you to go through the day and prevents, or rather helps you not to eat unnecessarily, especially if you are someone who is trying to lose weight, or you're trying to maintain your weight. Maybe you've lost weight and you're trying to maintain your weight. A very important thing you need to do is to plan properly for your breakfast, because that is going to help you to maintain this weight. That's going to help you to cut out those unnecessary foods, or those junks like carbonated drinks, or those things that you normally have nibbled upon at half of the day, say 11 a.m., 12 a.m. So if you've had a breakfast, you've planned your breakfast, it helps you through to the next meal that you're going to be having. Another benefit of having breakfast or eating breakfast is that it helps to control your blood sugar. Yes, someone will say, blood sugar. Why blood sugar? I don't have diabetes. So yes, whether you have diabetes or you do not have diabetes, note that the work of the blood sugar, you should know how blood sugar works. If you've not watched my video about fasting, when I talked about diabetes, and if someone with diabetes can fast and something, I have a video like that on my channel. I'm going to put the card, I'm going to put the link up there so you can watch it. So how does breakfast help to control your blood sugar? Note, if you skip breakfast, for example, and you're someone that is diabetic, it will reduce your blood sugar and make you hypoglycemia, which is even worse than your higher blood sugar. Now, even if you are not diabetic, having breakfast helps you control your blood sugar by not allowing you to eat unnecessary foods that can cause a spike in your blood sugar. Yes. So let's say, of course, again, you didn't plan your breakfast and then you just eat any and everything. You have an heavy meal for breakfast, or you have, say, heba for breakfast. You are packing a whole lot of sugar and a whole lot of, at a go for your body to process at a go. You already have the tendency of having diabetes, or you're already pre-diabetic, and then you're packing a whole lot of carbohydrates, and then your body is not functioning optimally, and you don't have enough insulin to carry that glucose to your blood cells, to carry it to your bloodstream. There's going to be a spike in your blood sugar. I hope you understand what I mean now. I hope you understand what I just explained. Understand? Yeah. So just note that having breakfast helps to control your blood sugar. The benefit of breakfast I want to talk about is that it helps you to do better at work or at school. Now, my colleagues at work know me that the first thing I do when I get to work, say 7:30, 8:30 a.m., is that I grab my breakfast, because it helps me to think better. It helps me to think clearer. As a matter of fact, when I wake up, say 7 a.m., I wake up 5 a.m., 7 a.m., I'm already hungry. I'm already itching, to eat breakfast. Already, my energy levels are down, and then I just can't wait to grab my breakfast that I have properly planned for to eat. And then when I have my breakfast, have a clearer sense of judgment. I can think better. That's just what food does to you. I don't know if you're like me, but at the sight of food, good food, I love. So now, let me digress a little bit. One of the reasons why I decided to start this YouTube channel, why I decided to talk about food and nutrition also, was because I love good food and I love to cook. I love to share some of this my knowledge that I have from studying and then from experience, from by virtue of study and then by virtue of experience. So let me go back to what I was talking about. So if I have my breakfast, when you eat breakfast, even you can testify to it. When you eat, for example, you're hungry and your energy levels are low, when you eat, you notice that you can now think clearer, you can work better, you can work. Even as a student now, if you're a parent, you're watching this, it is advisable, never allow your children to go to school without having breakfast. No, don't do that. Then you will notice that your children will come back home crying that my teacher beat me, my tutor beat me because I couldn't answer the question. When they do not eat breakfast before going, if you do not give them enough breakfast before going to school, they would not concentrate. So eating breakfast helps you to concentrate better, helps you to work better, helps you to think better, helps you to think faster. So this can also be linked to the first point I already talked about. Another benefit of breakfast I want to talk about is that it helps you to maintain your weight. Yes, if you're someone who is looking to lose weight, or if you're someone who is looking to maintain your weight, you should consider planning your breakfast properly. Now, I've already talked about this in my previous points, I'm going to re-emphasize it again. When you have a breakfast or when you plan out your breakfast, it helps you to maintain your meals for the day. You eat for breakfast, as a matter of fact, determines what you eat for the rest of the day. If you have a breakfast that is not filling in the sense that it doesn't contain all those classes I mentioned earlier, which is supposed to help with your appetite and is supposed to help you to feel full for a longer period of time, you notice that as the course of the day goes by, and then if you're someone who is active, you work actively, you're always on the go, you notice that before you know it, you're already grabbing a soda or grabbing something unhealthy to sustain you till you hit the next meal. So you keep on packing up calories and more calories and more calories and more calories. But if you've had a whole meal for breakfast, a wholesome meal, a well-planned breakfast meal, you notice that you're full for a period of time. So what is responsible for you feeling full for a longer period of time is because of those things I said should be in your breakfast. The whole grains, example your wheat, of course, has been shown, which is high in fiber, will help you to stay fuller for a longer period of time. Your protein, eggs also helps you to stay full for a longer period of time. Of course, your fruits is another source of sugar. Of course, it's natural sugars. It also helps you keep your appetite and helps you to keep you full for a longer period of time. As a bonus tip, I'm just going to give you ideas of what you can eat for breakfast for each day of the week. So if you're in this part of the world where I am, I'm in Lagos, Nigeria, by the way, Mondays are always very busy days because everyone is rushing to get early to work because it's the first day of the week, and so there's a rush. So you might not have time to prepare the kind of breakfast you normally want to have, which is also the same thing that applies to me. On Mondays, I'm not able to prepare the kind of breakfast I would prepare in other days of the week. So usually on Mondays, I would have my cereal, either my fruit and fiber. Of course, fruit and fiber is a very good one. I would recommend it. It's high in fiber, of course, which is going to keep you feeling full for a longer period of time. It also has in it nuts, it has in it fruit and all that, and then I have a boiled egg to go with it. So you notice that if you look at that, of course, I'm adding my milk into it. You notice that I have already included 4 of the classes I mentioned. Of course, the wheat, which is from the cereal, the flakes itself. I've added my milk. I've added my fruits are in there, the bananas and the dried grapes, the dried fruits and all that, and then I have an egg by the side. And on Tuesday now, because I have, of course, more time, I can prepare and then I can do something a little bit, then I can go for my oatmeal for breakfast. Of course, like I explained earlier, you're adding a whole lot, 1 or 2 of those classes I've mentioned. On Wednesday, you can have plantain, either boiled plantain or boiled potato, and your eggs. Of course, eggs is a power food. You should try as much as possible to include eggs in your breakfast. that is good for you. And then you can also have fruits by the side. So on Thursday you can have your pancakes. Me, for example, my daughter is now a new lover of pancakes, so I get to make pancakes more often than ever now. So you can have your pancakes and maybe your tea, your green tea, whatever preference of tea you know you have. You don't necessarily have to stop eating what you love. Just make sure that you do it in moderation. Then on Friday you can have, maybe repeat one of those, have a sandwich, a whole wheat sandwich, maybe slap on some peanut butter, which is also a very good source of protein. You can have some vegetables in it. You can have maybe some cabbage sliced in it, or lettuce. You can have boiled egg by the side. Just go with it. Just make sure that whatever it is that you're having, you have those classes of foods I've mentioned earlier, incorporated into it. It's going to help you to stay full for a longer period of time and prevent you from eating unnecessary foods. Then on weekends, of course, typical Nigerian breakfasts for weekends, you can have your bean cake, which is hakara, and maybe pap or custard or whatever cereal of choice, or you have your moi moi, depending on how it works with you. So you can just play with that. You can have your chicken wrap. I sometimes also, if I have time on my hands, have chicken wrap for breakfast. I also have the recipe for how to make chicken wrap. I'm going to put the link up there. You can watch how to make simple chicken wrap. I have a recipe also on how to make a simple sandwich for your breakfast. So these are things you can try your hands on, and then just to be sure that you're on the right track and you're living healthy. Of course, note, the optimal goal is for you to live healthy. Health is wealth. So whether your health is good or it is bad is solely dependent on you. So that's it, guys. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things on breakfast today. So if you've liked this video this far, if you've watched this video this far, you're the real MVP. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for doing that. Of course, if you've still not liked, please smash that like button and give me a thumbs up. Of course, turn on your post notifications so you get alerted, and of course, subscribe, share with your friends. I love this community to grow. I want to be motivated to continue to do this every now and then. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. So till I come your way again next time with this beautiful face of mine with another interesting content on healthy living, food and nutrition, and lifestyle, I remain Kemi-ing. Bye for now.